निरंजन सर,
हाँ मैम.
करूया सुरू आपण.
Okay, sure. Hello, good evening, everyone. Today I am going to present on how to use LaTeX for Indian languages. And so, before going to that topic directly, I would like to introduce some of the basics of encoding and so basically whatever you type is basically encoded in a format on your computer. So I would like to start with some basics of that, and then we'll go ahead with the engines. And I don't know how much you have learned about various engines available uh, with the LaTeX system. So I'll start with some basics. Basically, the core essentiality of the Indian language typesetting on LaTeX or anywhere, basically in any software, is Unicode. So Unicode is an encoding system developed like in 1991, and it started having characters from various languages and various scripts. So Unicode is basically an institution which gives numbers to the characters from various scripts, and these numbers are used by font developers, and they develop fonts, and then we can use then basically we can see the characters from various languages on our computer screens. So before Unicode we had ASCII, which many of you might know. ASCII is American Standard Code for Information Interchange. It had just one script, that is Latin script, used for English and other European languages, and only to 256 characters. After 1991, we started having characters from other languages on. So basically, we started having a standard encoding for other scripts, so scripts other than Latin. And initially, Unicode had very less scripts, so just like 27 or 29 scripts, and very less characters. But now it has grown like 159 scripts and 1,44,000 characters. So, what we as LaTeX users need to know is there are several engines of LaTeX. So the journey of LaTeX doesn't is not very short. It is a very long journey. Tech was the base software of all the packages or everything in LaTeX we use. Tech was the origin. It was developed by Knut in 1978, so it's almost 44 years old software. But so for as you can see in this slide, like for a very long time, this software was only available for ASCII characters. So anything other than so any character other than the Latin script was not available on for use in LaTeX. So there were softwares, there were other packages like Devanagari, then TIPA, which had developed a way to represent characters in the PDF file, but they were just visual shapes. So, for example, nowadays you can copy and paste characters from PDF files, right? This wasn't available back then. It was just a visual shape you could see on the PDF or the DVI files, the output files, and you couldn't copy paste, you couldn't really type those characters in the basically input system. So till 2002 it was just ASCII and ASCII everywhere on LaTeX. 1991 was the start of Unicode, but even in LaTeX, so the inclusion of ZTech, that was the first engine, first Unicode aware engine, took time, and for 2004 it took the time. And there are two Unicode aware engines available majorly in the LaTeX platform. One is ZTech and other is LuaTech. Both of these engines can understand Unicode characters and can typeset Unicode characters. So I'll show you how this basically typing and outputting Unicode characters work in LaTeX. So there is a package named FontSpec. I hope you all know how to load a package and with commands like use package. So now I'll stop sharing and share my editor screen so that you can basically see how I compile and generate a PDF. So let me just share my editor window. Yeah, so this is the code. I hope it's visible. So this is the code I had written in that slide, which basically
a little bit zoom in.
Okay, sure. Is it okay now?
Yes,
Hello?
sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So like every other LaTeX document, we load a document class. Then we load the package FontSpec, and now we set a font. So like now I am typesetting a Marathi document. I am using a Marathi document. So I will load font Shobhika. It is available in every like tech distribution, MikTech or TechLive, whatever distribution you choose. It has this font called Shobhika, and there are two parameters to these commands. Have you learnt about optional arguments and mandatory arguments? Can anyone basically let me know about this? Hello. Okay, let me reiterate what this means. Basically, every command may have a mandatory argument. So if that mandatory argument isn't passed to it, then the command will fail to compile. And commands might have optional arguments. It's not a necessity, but some commands might have optional arguments. So it gives some additional information to the basic command you have used. So in this situation, the entire part script is equal to Devanagari and renderer is equal to half verse is an optional argument. So the basic command is set main font and the name of that font. This is the mandatory part. You cannot pass this command without a font name, a valid font name, which is either installed on your system or maybe you have that font in the tech distribution itself. So Shobhika is a font which is available in the distribution itself, so you can use it freely. Now, what are these two optional arguments? So script is equal to Devanagari is a argument which basically specifies that so the font I have used is Shobhika, but I need to typeset the Devanagari script, and it adds some basic characteristics of the Devanagari script to the output. So we'll try first compiling the document without these optional parameters and then compile them with then we'll add these parameters and see their effect. Okay, so I'll paste it here after the end document so that it doesn't get loaded. Okay, and now I'll compile my document. Right now I am using an automated tool called Arara, and this is an amazing tool. It basically is in form of LaTeX comments. So if you see these three lines, they are LaTeX comments because they start with a percent sign. And if anything that starts after a percent sign is basically a comment. It isn't read by LaTeX. So if you write a percent sign and write arara after it, it is a directive to a program named arara, which is an automation tool, and you can basically type LaTeX commands. So Lua LaTeX is a LaTeX command which you give to the compiler. So you can write these commands. So I have written Lua LaTeX twice because I want to compile the document twice. And then I have requested the Arara program to clean my auxiliary files. So if I show you my directory here, this is the file mr.tech, and when I compile it with Arara, it generates log and aux files here, but it immediately cleans those files because of this clean directive. So these are just three commands I'm using. So to compile twice and to clean the auxiliary files. But there are various commands, various actions you can perform with this tool. So for example, if you are using bibliography and you want to compile your program with Bieber, you can direct Arara to compile the file with Beaver. You just have to keep one thing in mind, that anything you write must be in a proper sequence. So every Arara command must be in a proper sequence. So if I write Beaver here, your Lua LaTeX will, the first two compilations will be of Lua LaTeX, then of Beaver, and then the auxiliary files will be cleaned. So this is just an automation tool, an introduction to you. And the good side of this tool is you can write these comments anywhere, even after the end document. At the beginning of the document, you can write it anywhere. I can write Arara comments here and still it will get compiled very easily. So this was the automation tool. Now what I am doing here is I am loading the main font Shobhika with package font spec and compiling my document with Lua LaTeX. Now if we see the output, there is a problem here. The halanta sign, the conjoining character isn't displayed well. Even the diacritic marks that were supposed to be displayed like this, the Lekhika word, isn't displayed correctly. It is messed up. So the reason for this is we haven't loaded the script. We haven't instructed our program which script are we using. Otherwise, it uses the default Latin conventions to typeset our code. Therefore, we need to add the parameter of script and write the appropriate name of the script here. And then if we check our document, then then the diacritics are typeset correctly. But still there is a problem. The conjoining character, it's still not displayed correctly. Now let me tell you, this is a problem of the renderer. So basically this program, the font spec program, uses renderers to display the characters correctly. Now there are two major render is Node and the other one is Harfbus. So the thing is, if you compile your code with Z-LaTeX, sorry, just a second. Yeah, if you compile your code with Z-LaTeX, there is no need to issue the parameter of renderer is equal to Harfbus. And the reason is, see, the conjoining character is displayed correctly when I used Z-LaTeX. So when I used Z-LaTeX, the conjoining character got displayed correctly. But when I was using Lua LaTeX, it wasn't displayed correctly. So the reason was this renderer, Harfbus renderer, is used by this Z-LaTeX engine by default. it doesn't need to be added to the command. But Lua LaTeX doesn't use it by default. It uses the node renderer, and therefore whenever you use Lua LaTeX with Indian scripts, with Indian Unicode fonts, you must add these two optional parameters to your set main font command. So one is script is equal to Devanagari, and the other one is renderer is equal to Harfbuzz. If you have access to Tech Live system or like any tech distribution, then you might want to try this code out on yourself, so that you can. What I'll do is I'll paste this code in the chat window, and you can access it and try it out yourself. So what I did right now was to change the font entirely for the system. Okay. Now I will show you other interesting things. We don't need fonts only for Indian languages, right? We might get bored of the default LaTeX font, and we might want to change it. So for example, if you want to use the Arial font for your documents, for your English documents, what you can do is you can issue this command set main font Arial and compile it with Lua or ZLaTeX. So the only main thing to remember is whenever you use font spec package, you must use a Unicode aware engine, that is Lua or ZLaTeX. So as soon as you load this package font spec, you must use Z or Lua LaTeX. Otherwise it will complain that you are not using the appropriate engine. So see, this is the Arial font. So font spec can be used for any, it basically specifies the font. That's its job. To specify the fonts is its basic function. Now, let's say I want to use Arial for the most of the part of my document, but I want to have some IPA characters in my document. IPA is just a script which is used in linguistics for like typing phonetic symbols. So this is not, so I don't want to type these symbols everywhere in the document. It's just a small part of my document. So what I can do is I can add a new font to the document by having this command, new font family. Now, this command has two mandatory arguments. The first argument is a command you design to call this font. So for example, I'll name this IPA font, let's say. Okay. And the second one is the name of the font. So one thing you must know is whether your font consists these characters or not. So for example, the characters I have typed out are only available in like IPA fonts. So one of these fonts is Caris SIL. So I'll issue a new font family command, name my command. So IPA font is my command. I can use it anywhere. So wherever I use that command, it will start the font Caris SIL. So for example, my make title command is using the default, that is the main font I have set, that is Arial. And now I'm using the IPA font command. So as soon as I use IPA font, I will see the Caris SIL font in my document. Just let it compile. You can see the different font and different characters. Now, if I want to use this for, what happens is if I like again type title and author, now the font will still be Caris SIL only. The Arial font has gone because I have used IPA font here. And after that, everything is typeset in this Caris SIL font only. So what if in programming we call it local and global. What if I want to use a different font locally? So what we usually do is we use this command in a group. So in LaTeX, a group is basically when you type a curly bracket, you start a curly bracket and write stuff inside it and close that bracket. So now we have make title command. We have a group which changes the font to Caris SIL, and then as soon as we close the group, the default settings are intact. So the effect is you will see title author in Arial and this particular part in Caris SIL. Can you notice the difference? This is a serif font. This is a sans font. So serif font is basically a font which has variable width. So if you notice carefully, the tail of this D is not of the same size. It changes the shape as if you are using a calligraphic pen. But the main feature of a sans font is you will see so at any point of time, the width of the character is exactly the same. It doesn't change at all. So this is a sans font. This is a serif font. So you can try these things on your own with your LaTeX system and try using fonts available in LaTeX so that you can experiment and get used to changing and using different fonts more and more. So coming back to Indian languages, we just saw how to use so Devanagari script we just saw. I'll copy that code once again, and we'll see some problems and their possible solutions. So just give me a minute. Okay. So here we have that same code which had the Devanagari characters and a make title command, which basically typesets things in Devanagari, right? So now we'll compile that code again, and the noticeable thing here is you must have observed that you just provided the title and the name of the author, and you didn't mention anything else, right? But the date was given automatically. Now this date is given by LaTeX. So LaTeX automatically provides various things. So for example, if I add, you must be aware of this stuff because of the other lectures. So if I have various sections, and if I issue table of contents, then a table of contents is generated automatically, right? Yeah. So if you notice, the problem is here we are seeing Latin numerals, then the word contents is automatically added. Now we didn't want this, right? We wanted to typeset a Marathi document. The problem is in any typesetting software, in any typesetting program, there is a difference in the language used and the script used. So right now here, LaTeX only knows that these characters are from Devanagari script, and it doesn't know what is Marathi language, what is Hindi. It doesn't know these things. So we need to load another package named Polyglossia. For there are two packages available in LaTeX for typesetting Indian languages. For typesetting multilingual documents. One of them is Babel, and the other one is polyglossia. I personally find polyglossia more handy. Their commands are easy, and the plus point is polyglossia loads font spec automatically. So, if you have noticed, I didn't copy and paste the use package command and add polyglossia package, but I directly removed font spec and added polyglossia because polyglossia automatically loads font spec. So I don't need to load font spec again if I have loaded polyglossia already. So what we'll do is we'll now see how to load language files. So polyglossia has several commands. One of them is set default language and the name of that language. So if I issue this command and compile my document with an appropriate Unicode compliant font and a Unicode aware engine, what I will see is basically these packages have language files which contain, just give me a second, maybe there is something wrong. Oh, okay. The Lua LaTeX problem. Yeah. So another reason to prefer Z-Tech is Lua LaTeX is quite unstable these days. So in the last version of Lua LaTeX, it was compiling all the files correctly, but these days there is some error with Lua LaTeX, and therefore it is not compiling the documents as expected. So therefore it's best if you use the Z-Tech engine. And as I had mentioned earlier, if you use Z-Tech, there is no need to specify the renderer because renderer is automatically harf buzz. So now there is another error. Okay, let me close the editor and recompile things. So what happens is when you compile a document, there are these auxiliary files generated, aux, log, and toc for table of contents. Now, even if you change your code and files again, there are some parts of your earlier compilation which are stored in these files. So when even after changing the code, your files don't compile well, what you need to do is delete the auxiliary files and then try compiling the files again. So I am doing that. Just give me a second. Yes, it got compiled correctly now. So now you can see that at least the month got displayed correctly and the numbers in these in the date are displayed correctly. Now if you want to have these numbers which are used in the page number and in the sections, if you want these numbers to be displayed correctly, there is another parameter to the set main font command, and it is mapping is equal to Devanagari numerals. If you issue this command and compile your file with Z-LaTeX, then all your numbers will also be in Devanagari. This is how you basically compile and compile your sections. Compile your input, the Unicode input in LaTeX using Z and Lua LaTeX. Now, recent versions of LaTeX have incorporated bib LaTeX package, and the bib LaTeX package now supports Marathi language also. So you can cite in Marathi, you can have your bibliography in Marathi, and there are lots of things you can do with LaTeX and Marathi these days. You can try and experiment with this stuff in other languages also, but not everything will be as stable as so for example Marathi, the developers are quite active, and we are constantly providing them the feedback regarding Marathi language. So you will see that Marathi is quite developed in LaTeX, but it is not true for all the other Indian languages. But you can try and see. So for example, these days you don't even need to add these three commands. You can just use package Marathi and compile your document, and automatically everything is as you want it to be. So yeah. So this way, your documents can get compiled for Marathi language. I have developed this Marathi package for typesetting Marathi monolingual Marathi documents. So these days it is available on every tech distribution. So you can just load this package and write in Marathi, and everything will be fine. But this is not true for all the other Indian languages. So you just need to load package, set a language, then load a font with appropriate language, and then eventually you will see the correct form of your Unicode characters. So I didn't start with this package because it just does everything as it is expected in the output. But I wanted to show you how you can do this stuff for other Indian languages too. So therefore, I explained how the font spec works, how the Unicode works, how your encoding is incorporated in your LaTeX document. So this was majorly the things which you can do with your languages and Unicode fonts and LaTeX. So now I'll first like to hear from you if you have any other questions, and then we'll continue and I might add some other stuff regarding things. So do you have any questions? Hello. If there aren't any questions, then I'll show you a sample document that shows the usage of Bengali script. Okay, let me start. So we just saw how we used Marathi in LaTeX. Now this is some text in Bengali language, and for this again I have loaded font spec, then the Harfbus command which is necessary to be used with Lua LaTeX, and script is equal to Bengali. This time we used script is equal to Devanagari when I used the Shobhika font. Now it's Bengali, so I have used script is equal to Bengali, and this is a free and open source font named Baluda, which can be used for Bengali. Now if I compile this document, sorry, there's something wrong. Yeah, now if I compile this with my compiler, I can see the text. I can see the Unicode Bengali text rendered correctly, and all the features of Bengali script, like the broken top line and the different type of half rows, are displayed exactly like they are supposed to be. Now, again, if I want to like load Bengali as a language and see these things in Bengali too, then I would need to use Polyglossia or Babel. Right now, I would prefer Babel, Polyglossia, because, uh, as I said, it has handy commands. Okay. I think there is some error. Let me check. Okay, that would be the Lua LaTeX error. Let me use Z LaTeX. There is something wrong with the language file of Bengali. This therefore its numbers are not appearing correctly. But maybe we'll try mapping. No, this setup usually works for Marathi, but it isn't working for Bengali, and I haven't yet probed the language files of Bengali, so I won't be able to comment on that. But at least you can use the font for Bengali correctly with the minimal setup, that is font spec. And hello, was there any doubt? Oh, okay. The font isn't there in the tech distribution. Therefore, the ZLaTeX is facing a bit difficulty in finding it. So this way, Lua LaTeX would be better. Yeah. So this is how you can use package font spec and package polyglossia for typing in Indian languages and basically typesetting your documents in your own languages. Do you have any questions?
I think no questions from the participants.
Okay. So anything else you would like to so anything other than Indian language is also fine. So any other LaTeX doubt? This is the last session, right? Has anyone talked about the resources, online resources to learn LaTeX?
Online resources and the wizards, the use of wizards
Which wizards?
in Text Studio.
Oh, okay. I have Text Studio, so I
Okay.
won't be able to show the Text Studio wizards. But as we have time, I can show the online resources and how to
Yes.
access them.
Yes, sir.
Okay, sure. So there are various tools and various websites available for learning LaTeX. One of the recent development is this website called learnlatex.org. This is a website developed by the team members who are currently actively developing LaTeX, and it has 16 chapters, and they have like divided the basic coursework of LaTeX in small chapters, and all of them are interactive chapters. So if you, for example, choose this one and see and read their material, you can actually try and compile the documents here exactly at this website, and compile the documents, edit the code. You can write here. Sometimes it's a bit slow. You might need to compile twice or thrice, but you can copy this code to your own system and compile, or you can open it in Overleaf. Overleaf, do they know about Overleaf, man?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. So you can open this code in Overleaf. Oh, okay. There is some error. sometimes happens, but anyways, we can try the regular stuff also. We can, as we have this font on in the distribution, we can try it here also. So for example, I can type in Marathi here, and if I compile it, it must load correctly. Just it seems that this site has gone slow and there are some errors. Okay. Uh, let's skip this interactive part. I'll have to report them. I'm also one of the team members, by the way. So this is a recent development. Their tutorials are very nice. If you know Marathi, this entire coursework is available in Marathi also, and I have translated it myself. So you can read the entire course in Marathi, and you can learn LaTeX in Marathi nowadays. Other than this, there is the regular Stack Overflow and the specific Stack Exchange dedicated to LaTeX related questions. You can see a lot of users ask questions, and you have to follow a discipline for asking questions, and that discipline is of providing a minimal working example. So whenever you come across a problem, you have to provide an example of what you have tried with a small snippet of code, and that snippet should demonstrate the problem you are facing, and then people happily help you and tell you where exactly you are having problem. So Stack Overflow is one brilliant resource. This is a new development. This is topanswers.tech, uh, topanswers.xyz. This is a general website for a lot of question and answer forums. There are Nix questions, there are like web questions, and we have formed a community for questions and answers related to tech in Marathi also. It's not quite active because there aren't many users who actively ask questions, but still there is a community. If you want to ask question in Marathi, you can ask it here. uh, then the tech community in English on this site is very active, and I personally prefer this site over the Stack Exchange because uh, the format of this site is a bit different than the regular Stack Exchange one, and it's a brilliant site. Users here are great contributors. Few users from this site are currently in the team, in the LaTeX team. So this is also a brilliant site. You can ask your questions to the community, and they will help you out when you are in problems. So these were the resources I could easily recollect. There must be a lot of other resources also, but if you're a beginner, I would recommend you to go through the Learn LaTeX website. It's a brilliantly designed course. And if you face any difficulty with the site, if you notice a problem on that site, you can report it to the managers. So all of this project is open source, so you can actually open a GitHub issue from their page, and you will the issue will be addressed by the developers. This is their repository, and every development happens here. So yeah, that was about using LaTeX with Indian languages. That was my uh, lecture.
sir. Now Balaji sir will give vote of thanks and then we'll declare that the 5-day STTP over. Balaji sir, over to
Hello,
you.
ma'am. Am I audible, ma'am?
Yes.
I would like to request the participants if they want to share their views, they can unmute yourself and continue. Yes, any participants, if they want to share their views?
Before,
Sonali, ma'am, you are not audible actually. The voice is breaking.
sir, am I audible?
Yes, right.
So just before the feedback and the last feedback session, I just want to share one use of wizards that is not covered actually for the new users. It is very useful. So can I share and just I will take 1 minute time.
Yes, ma'am. Please continue. Yes, Sonali, ma'am, you can continue.
Yes. Just a 1 minute. I have shared my screen. Is the screen is visible?
Yes, ma'am.
It is actually the use of wizards, I think. Use of wizards. Sir, is my screen is visible?
Yes, ma'am. It is visible.
Okay. So you just go to wizards and you can see here the quick start. And if you want to write an article, you choose article. If you want to write a report, you can choose report, letter, book, beamer, whatever. Suppose if I choose article, already everything is typed here. Automatically, you will get directly the code here. And you have to start writing from begin document and end document. Same thing for quick beamer presentation. You can choose here the different themes. Okay, and then you just say okay, then you will get a code and you can write directly. You just write your author and just remove this comment sign, title and everything, and you just begin with your frame and frame title, and you just add your frames so that you will have your nice presentation in LaTeX. Or if you want to write a letter, you can just say quick letter and so on. If you want the tabular, so here you can create the tables also, the number of columns and number of rows, how many you want. You just select, the code will automatically generate, and then we can easily insert the tables. Then insert a graphic here. You just have to select the path. If you want to insert some image, you just select that image. Suppose you want this image, you just select there, the path is already taken and everything. And if you see, just insert that, then automatically this begin figure and end figure along with include graphics and your code, the path and the image Okay, so that code will appear and you just have to run it. So that it is, you can math assistant also. So there is some problem. Fine. So you can use this wizards, the new members, and so that you have your life simple, okay, using LaTeX. So this is all about the use of wizards, and you can see all options here. Then use view also and show, that is for mathematics. So this is all about the use of wizards. So thank you, sir.
Okay, ma'am. Welcome. Should I continue? Yes,
Yes.
Sonali ma'am?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So I sincerely thank our trustee, Modern Education Society, Dr. A.J. Hake sir, Dr. Chandak sir, Dr. Sanap sir, Principal, Dr. S.S. Saravde sir, Vice Principal, Dr. Mrs. M.P. Dale madam, and college management for their continuous support during this particular workshop. A special word of appreciation goes to all the HODs for their continuous support and valuable guidance. I would also like to thank our coordinator, Dr. Kadam madam, Professor Priyanka madam, and all the organizing committee members. And last but not the least, the attendees for participating and believe in the excellence of this workshop. So here I declare the function is over. Thank you. Thank you all. Yes, Kadam ma'am.
Yes. Thank you all participants. Thank you, Sonali ma'am. I request all participants to please leave this meeting. You will get your certificate within 8 working days next week.